Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full review and wear test on the new Dose of Colors foundation. I have the foundation right here and I also have the sponge. So I only bought one sponge and I bought a foundation. Hopefully this foundation is my shade. I don't know. I swatched it yesterday and it seemed a little off, but I'll see once I wear it. I hope it's my shade. I really do, because I really want to test this out and see how it works. I have the paper right here that it came with in the package. It says that it is a, well, first of all, the foundation is called Meet Your Hue, and it says that it is a lightweight medium to full coverage foundation that delivers a blurring effect which reduces the appearance of fine lines and skin imperfections. And it comes with 42 shades. This is the shade range right here, so it's a pretty good shade range, I would say. I'm gonna see how it works. I'm kind of, every time I order a foundation online, I get a little bit nervous because I don't know what my shade is. Even though I am on the fair side of foundations, it's still very difficult for me to find the perfect match. Usually I have to end up mixing foundations. So I know people say, oh, it's the darker tones, it's hard to find your shade. It really is all around. I feel it's all about undertones. I think the undertones is what's the most important thing, and I think that's where brands kind of miss the mark a lot of the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and try the foundation out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also ring the notification bell so you're notified when I post my next video. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into testing this foundation. Okay, so I have the sponge right here. It's a very cute sponge. I normally don't buy sponges like this because, I mean, I don't really see sponges like this all the time. So as you can see on the sponge, it says Dose of Colors right there, which is really cute touch. I feel like no one ever does that, and I think that's really cute. The sponge feels very, very soft, so I'm gonna try it out, and I have high hopes for the sponge. I'm actually gonna see right now the price of the sponge and the foundation. The foundation is $36 and the sponge is $15, so it's gearing towards, you know, the beauty blender price, which I do have affordable sponges that work really, really good. So I'm gonna put this to test for real, because sorry, I have a wrapped paper towel. Put this to test for real, because if my affordable sponges perform better, then I don't know. I feel like nowadays you really don't have to be paying that much money for a good sponge because there's so many out there on the market that you really don't need to do it, but we'll see. I have the foundation right here, so this is how the packaging looks like. I think it looks super pretty, very nice. This has like that soft, like, I don't even know what it's called, but it has like that soft glass type of thing going on, and it says Meet Your Hue all around here, and then it has the foundation. You know, this packaging kind of reminds me of the Sephora foundation. That's what it reminds me of. But anyways, and then down here it tells you the shade. So I got shade 108 light, and I'm gonna see if that works for me. I hope it does. But since it says it's a medium to full coverage, not just full coverage off the bat, I'm gonna start off with a brush first and then do what I normally do. So start off with a brush and then kind of blend it out with the sponge to make everything look seamless. So I'm gonna see how that works. So I'm gonna start off really quick. Let me take off my earrings because they get in the way. Oh, this says it is high pigment, matte finish, buildable, lightweight, and long wear. It's also vegan, cruelty free, talc free, paraben free, fragrance free, and oil free, which is really good because I have really sensitive skin. And by the way, my nails, again, my sister did them. She's a nail tech, and she did Gel X on me, which I've never had before, but it looks so freaking cute. I love it. So yeah, hit her up. I'm gonna link her Instagram somewhere right here probably. So right off the bat, this is how the foundation pumps out. Pretty thick foundation. So I'm just gonna do about a few pumps. I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of, even though this is on the light range, it still looks really light. So this is the first foundation in the light row. It goes from fair, light, light medium, medium tan, dark, and deep. So this is number 108 on the light. So it looks really yellowy. But I feel like once everything is blended out, everything with bronzer and stuff, it kind of just comes together. I'm gonna take my Morphe M446 brush, which is a really good buffing brush for foundation. So I'm gonna just see what type of coverage it gives me with my brush. Usually this brush gives me like maximum coverage. So I'd say it's like a pretty good match so far. I usually like going like a shade darker in my foundation only because I think it just looks better. I don't know. It's kind of like my theory. I think it looks better if it's a little bit darker, not really match, because I do go pretty light in my concealer, so it looks better that way to me. But I mean, to each its own. Obviously everyone wants to have like a pretty good match. Also a pretty yellowy tone, I would say. Definitely is a medium to full coverage, because I could still see all this peeping through. If it was full coverage, then it would have been gone. So I'm gonna take a little bit more foundation on the back of my hand, and I'm actually gonna take this sponge now, take the bottom side of the sponge and see how that blends out. So far, even though it says it's a matte finish, oh, and by the way, I used my normal like priming routine. I just did my Milk Hydro Grip Primer and my No Pore Bump Primer in the center. That's what I normally do. I also did some MAC Shrub Cream in the shade Gold Light, just to give myself a little bit more of a sheen, because it is a matte foundation. So usually with matte foundations, I want to prep my skin on the glowier side just so I could have a nice finish, because personally a matte foundation is nice for me, but I feel like that's pretty good. I think that's as full coverage as I'm gonna get it. But see right here, it's kind of an issue for me, the fact that it's like really not covering my little breakouts right there. So so far I would say it's more on the medium coverage side. I'm not gonna say it's medium to full coverage. It's not giving me like the fullest coverage. I feel like I'm gonna have to keep piling it on in order to get full coverage. And personally, I don't like putting so much foundation on, because at the end of the day, foundation is the first step to the whole process, and you're gonna have to be putting more stuff, and it's just too much for me. I'm very particular when it comes to the foundation. Usually I could, you know, with my brush, gives me a good coverage, and then I could add the sponge method that I do, and it'll still keep the coverage. But I also think maybe the sponge is taking away product a little bit, and it's not. This is how it looks right now. It's the bottom, and I definitely feel like it's soaking up product. So I don't know. So far it's okay. I'm just gonna keep going and see where it takes me. The finish is nice though. I think it's a nice finish, but definitely not full coverage. For being a matte foundation, you expect it to be full coverage because it's like a matte foundation, but not the full coverage so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the whole face routine that I normally do. So I'm gonna go in my Too Faced concealer, and this is in the shade Snow. So I'm actually filming the Kylie Cosmetics summer collection directly after this. That's why I'm doing my everything face first. So I'm gonna do my bronzer and all that stuff, and then I'll leave my eyes blank. I know it's gonna like look weird, but I'm doing 2 different videos in one sitting, because I did a poll on my Instagram, and it literally was 50-50. Like, people wanted to see this review, and people also wanted to see the Kylie Summer review. Every time you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my little mirror that I have right here. I would put it in front of me, but it just will block my camera. I just need to get like a smaller mirror because it's not really working. I really like the pointiness of this sponge, but it is a very soakage type of sponge. I don't know, I feel like ever since I started using those like Juno and Co sponges, it's like nothing is comparable to that. Plus those are super affordable, so I'm like really on those. I do live in LA, and I know they had like a store, like a little pop-up, but I'm sorry, this traffic is just not doable for me. I have a baby, so driving with her and that, like not even gonna think about it. It's just gotten worse here. There's so much traffic. It takes like literally like an hour just to get somewhere that's like 5 miles away. And that's not even being exaggerating, like I'm being serious. So if you live in LA, you know what I mean. I'm gonna use this same sponge only because I didn't buy 2 sponges again because I didn't know if I was gonna like the sponge, and also too, it was $15, so ugh, that's already doing a little bit too much for me. And the foundation was $36, so I'm not gonna buy 2 sponges and a full foundation. Very particular on my sponges now, so I'm not gonna drop 30 bucks for 2 sponges where I could get 4 sponges for 24 bucks. I'm gonna turn on the light a little bit and see if it kind of lessens the, I think the middle light I have is a little too bright. There's literally a fly in here and it's just chilling on one of the lights. So normally my powder blends out pretty good with my regular sponges, but it's kind of feel like it's like clinging to things, and then I don't know what it is, but maybe it's the foundation too, but I feel like it's a little bit too dry in this area and it looks patchy, very patchy and very clingy, so I don't know about that. I'm gonna take a fluffy brush and just dust some of this powder right here in my jawline area and my neck just to set everything. I'm gonna go in with my Chanel powder. So I'm gonna take the Chanel powder now. I'm gonna take the butt side of the sponge, just kind of press this into the skin like I normally do. I know it seems like a lot, but I always set my powder in with a spray, so it kind of just melts everything together. And the powder ends up disappearing anyway, so even though I sat with the Fenty one, I still kind of hit my entire face with the Chanel one because it just gives me a nicer finish, a nicer like sheen to the skin. It's not super matte, which I like. So this is what I have going on so far. I'm gonna go ahead and spritz my face really quick just to refresh everything and make everything melt into the skin, and then I'll be back. I'm gonna probably contour, highlight, everything, you know the drill, so I'll be back. So far it feels really nice with all my powders and stuff. Everything seems very soft. That's how it normally is. I'm gonna see how it blends with all my like bronzers and stuff and see where it takes me, because you know sometimes that kind of makes or breaks everything. So I'm gonna go in first with my Hourglass Luminous Light Ambient Lighting Powder, and I'm gonna take that on my normal brush, which is my JH06. Kind of hit that on the apples of my cheeks just to give myself an all over glow. I go pretty heavy handed with this powder because it's super light, super forgivable. It's not gonna like be too dark. I'm gonna go in with my Tarte Sun and Fun Sugar Rush bronzer, which I've used this before a few times. Really love this bronzer. It gives me a nice, it's a baked bronzer, so it's gonna give me a nice finish to the skin, but it's also gonna look super pretty, super nice. So I'm gonna see, it's gonna look, give you like a glow from within type of look. I'm using this on a JH02, my normal bronzing brush. For contour today, I'm gonna use my Catrice Shape in a Box palette. This is a contouring palette, and I'm gonna go ahead and use the middle shade. I just kind of chisel myself out a little bit more. I go pretty lightly with this. I barely graze the skin with this brush. Just, it's enough. Like, it's just a little goes a long way with contouring, especially after you've bronzed already. You don't need as much as you think. Hit the jaw. Oh my god. Oh my god, that literally just like fell out. What the heck? What? How did that even happen? I'm so confused. The fact that that literally came out, and that was the shade I used to like brighten up if I really need to, but I guess that's no more. That's really sad. we're back on track. I mean, that was upsetting. Probably because like I hit the palette when I dust off, but still, like, come on. That should not happen ever. Actually, let me bake these smile lines and everything just so I have everything. Or bake the under it. Ah! Ah! There's literally a fucking fly on me. What the? This room, I swear, something's wrong in here. Something's wrong. What the heck? How was that fly just chilling on my hand like nothing? I'm so... That was so creepy. Ew. Bye. It's like Silence of the Lambs. I'm so sick. Okay. Okay. Let me just... Where is that fly? I'm scared. Okay. I'm gonna just bake the contour area. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight now, and since we are dose of colors today, I think it's appropriate to use Fuego by the Does X Katie collab with Dose of Colors. I'm gonna use that on a M501, excuse me. And this one's gonna be a little bit too, like, giving me that cast, but I'll fix it with a lighter highlighter. That's what I usually do. I like to layer highlighters. It just gives me a nicer finish. I'm just nervous. That fly creeping on me like that was not okay. Oh, I'm stewing. I'm gonna hit myself with a little bit of a lighter highlighter. I'm gonna use the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter, and this is in the shade Pearl, which I use this in my full face of Amazon makeup. If you haven't seen it, I will link it down below. And this highlighter was so freaking bomb. I had never tried the highlighters before from Physicians Formula, and it was just so pretty. Give me a really pretty finish, and look compared to this, it's already gleaming, but this one like gives you a little bit more. It's a really pretty highlighter. I think it's like $7.99, I want to say. I'm not sure, but in my Amazon video I link everything on the screen for you guys. This is the MAC Peaches blush, which I love this blush so much. MAC blushes are just unbeatable to me. They're one of the best. Love the matte blushes. One of the mineral blushes that I like is the most is the Warm Soul. I think Warm Soul only, not the Warm Soul, but it's so good. Not too much. This color of the foundation is very fair, and I could tell because my other products aren't meshing that well together, and usually they do. So be back with my final thoughts, and I will probably do a check-in, but if I don't, it's because I got busy or just like I forgot. So I will be right back. So this is the foundation in its final form. I think the finish is very nice. I really do enjoy it. It's a matte foundation, but my skin doesn't feel super tight and super like I can't move my face. It's a nice finish, I would say. I think it's comparable to pretty much a lot of foundations, like the finish. The coverage I wasn't so crazy about because the fact that they say, oh, it's like medium to full coverage, I would just market it as like a medium buildable coverage. Don't say medium to full because it's definitely not a full coverage foundation. So you can still see my stuff peeping through. And usually if I have like my breakouts right here, my foundation kind of takes care of it. I don't have to like overdo it. And this was just not because I added bronzer. It was because the foundation didn't cover it all the way. So I don't know. I would say that's like a little bit of a deal breaker for me, but not too much. I mean, for $36, I probably wouldn't purchase this foundation. It is on the higher range of price. So I don't know. It feels nice on my skin, but this is not a foundation I would go back and use, only because it didn't live up to the claim for me. Like I said, it's a pretty foundation, but I don't know. I think it kind of emphasizes a little bit of my texture as well. Like it just doesn't look too pleasing, and on the areas where I didn't put on my powders and stuff, this looks where I put my powders, just powder only, no highlight, it just looks very dry and it doesn't feel matte, but it looks definitely matte. So I don't know, if you have oily skin, go ahead and try it out. But for me personally, I have more of the drier skin in this area. My nose is literally the only place that gets oily. So everywhere else on my face, it's just dry. And I prep my skin with my normal skin primers, and I mean, that's what I always use. So I know it's not anything I use. I know it's just the foundation itself. So I mean, it feels nice on the skin, but all in all, it's just not worth it for me. I think you could find some pretty good foundations at the drugstore that are really good price, and they're going to be really nice finish. So yeah, that is my final thoughts on this foundation. Like I said, I might do a check-in, I might not, but if I don't do a check-in, it's definitely not a cop in my opinion. For me, I think it's a flop because, like I said, it's just a little too drying, not full coverage like it claims to be. It claims to be medium to full, but like I said, don't say it is gonna be full coverage if I can't even build it up. And usually with my foundation, a medium to full coverage will, with my brush, I will be able to like just already spackle it on with my brush and it'll be full coverage right off the bat. And it wasn't, so I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this foundation personally. So it's, all in all, it's your opinion. If you want to get it, then get it. But $36 is not the cheapest thing in the world. And like I said, you could find some better foundations out there that are more affordable. Drugstore. You don't have to order it online. That's my personal opinion. Do as you please. Like I said, I'm not gonna tell you like, oh, this is horrible, because it's not. It's a matte foundation, but for me personally, it just doesn't work. If you have oily skin and you have like pretty good skin, like you don't have that much acne, then it'll probably work for you. But if you have acne, this is definitely not gonna cover your acne up. So just letting that be known. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Dose of Colors foundation. Please don't forget to like this video. Comment down below what you think of this foundation. Are you gonna buy it? Have you seen other reviews? I personally didn't see any other reviews because I just didn't want to like alter my opinion on it, and I didn't want to see what other people had to say about it. Also, I know there's other people that are friends with the owner of Dose of Colors, so I feel like some reviews might be a little bit biased, but at the same time, you know, people who are higher up on the beauty guru realm, obviously most of the time they have good reviews. So I didn't want to gear my opinion towards a good side, even if, because usually if I were to try it and I really didn't think it was good, but I would, if I saw someone else's video, I'd be like, oh, well, maybe it's not that bad. But no, for me, it's a good it's a decent foundation, but it's not something I would run out to buy. It's not something you have to have. So just letting that be known. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so you're notified when I post my next video. Hey guys, so I'm checking in on my phone because I'm way too lazy to go downstairs and set up everything again, because I had a new backdrop and I'm gonna have to like put it back on, my one for this video, and I don't want to do that right now. But it's currently 9:45 and I've had this foundation on for about 9 hours. I put it on around 12:30, so yeah, like 9 hours. All in all, it looks pretty good. I actually went swimming, so I was on the hot sun. It was like over 100 degrees today, so and the sun was beaming on my face, like legit. So I think the foundation held up pretty well, but like I said, the full coverage claim kind of just like disappointed me a little bit. So I would not be wearing this foundation again. I don't think this is probably more appropriate for like an everyday type of thing, but again, the shade's not even my shade, so I don't know. The only areas I have oils breaking through is right here in my nose, which I normally do anyway. But other than that, it looks fine. But like I said before, it's just, if something claims to be something and it doesn't live up to the claim, I'm not gonna like use it again. Plus my shade is it's just not my shade. It looks too yellow, so I don't know. But yeah, that is my final thoughts on the foundation. Get it if you want. Like I said, it's just up to you. Like, it doesn't really matter, but hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!